How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at another gear review as requested from you guys. You want me to do more tabletop reviews. I will be showing you the gear in use as well. So firstly, let's talk about the gear, and it's this one here. It's the BPS B1. Okay, it's the knife. So it's another knife review. You guys have been requesting this one. This one I've had for about 3 years now. These are made in Ukraine, and I bought it to support in Ukraine. At the time that the money that you paid for the knife, some of that fund went to Ukraine to support them. Now, this is a very popular knife there lately, and there's lots of different BPSs, and they're doing a good job. They've come onto the market. They're still young, and they're nailing it. They're doing a great job, and they're really throwing out some good knives. And for a great price, they really are budget. So this is the one I've been using. I took this one to Sweden with me as well, and I've been using it quite a lot. And you can see there, and it bit me well, this knife. It really did bite my finger. So here we go. You can see it's got some pitting on there and scratches. This one here is nicely polished. It's the carbon steel version. This is made from 1066 carbon steel, which is generally classed as a budget carbon steel. Okay, now with it being a budget carbon steel, that does not mean it's inferior of any kind. Okay, 1066 is a suitable steel for knife making, okay, and it's exceptionally good because it does everything you need it to do. It's by all means not perfect. It means it's prone to rust as well, okay, so this one will be prone to rust, but they've polished up the blade, and I've not had any rust issues, luckily. And when I say budget, it's inexpensive. You know, it's in that 10 family. So you've got 1066. What other ones? You got 1075. You got 1080, 1085, 1095. You got ATCLV2, which is very similar to the 1080, I believe. You know, very easy steels to heat treat. And in comparison to something like an 01, which is another steel that I favor with knives, okay, it compares really well. You know, it comes down to heat treatment, guys, and the guys in Ukraine know how to heat treat these steels, you know, and they do a great job of that. It's not to say it's at the same level as my old ones or any of the type of carbons I have, but when I was in Sweden for 5 days, I touched it up very so slightly on the ceramic side of my DC4, and then swapped it on some polypore fungus, and I only did that once, and I was using it quite often. I was using it hard. It was cutting food, it was making temp pegs, it was doing everything I needed to do, and yeah, I had to literally 5-minute touch up, and that was it. That's the same as what I would do on the Mora. Okay, so if you ask me, I say it would be on the same path as what Mora produces, but definitely not inferior, even though it's budget. Now, I divert. So on that note, this is the B1. It's similar, and it's inspired by a Woodlaw style knife from Ramirez, but it's not the same. And I'm going to compare this knife to a typical Woodlaw shaped knife. It's made from walnut handle. Okay, so you've got walnut handle, and you've got these hex rivets that they've used. So you can take this handle off if you wanted to and make it custom. It doesn't come with hardware in your breast, in your lanyard. So it hasn't got like a breast lanyard in there like a lot of my other knives. It's just a simple hole, but you still get a lanyard, and you could put one in there if you wanted to. It's a single bevel grind, other known as Scandi grind. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much to say about it. I mean, let's have a look at dimensions. I think it's a bit over, yeah, so let's just go like that. Let's do inches for those in the US and anywhere else that uses inches. So that's about 9 inches approximate. The handle itself, I'd say, is about 4 and let's go back a bit there, 4 3/4, and the knife is about 4.5. So yeah, that's what we have there. So a little bit over 9 inches in total there. In centimeters, for those here in the UK, you're looking at a 12 centimeter handle and approximately 11 centimeters in blade length, which gives you a cutting edge of 10 centimeters. So that's what we have. It's approximately 3 mil thick, maybe a little bit shy of that, maybe bang on. I mean, my jackclaw is exactly 3 mil. That's 3 mil 01 tool steel, and you can see there just ever so slightly thinner. Okay, 3mm is probably the minimum I tend to like. 2mm on my Moras because, you know, they're cheap, you know, they're fine. I will use a 2mm thick blade on a Mora like this one here. That's fine, but, you know, for hard use, 3mm is the minimum I go. I like 4mm. That's my sweet spot, if you ask me. So this is the carbon steel one. I also purchased a stainless steel one, and you're probably thinking, Sammy, why do you need two? You can see the sheath's brand new on this one. I purchased this one at the Bushcraft show. It's come out once. I did a canoe trip recently on the River Spey, and I lost all the footage, silly me, and that was the knife I was using. So the stainless steel is for humid environments and being around water. So because I'm a keen canoeist, that is going to be the one I'll take for canoe trips. I think it's ideal for that, and it holds its edge really well. I didn't need to sharpen it once. It's made from 8CR1 4MOV steel, whatever that is. I've never heard of it. Let's just get a little zoom in here. It's not focusing in. Okay, there you go there. So that's a stainless steel. You can see this one's not polished. It's got grind lines going up and down this way. I don't like that. I like him to go in this direction, but hey ho, that's just me being particular. And it's got a brand new sheath. The sheath is very, very well made. If it was going to fail anywhere, it will be where the rivets are holding the belt loop. It's not to say it's not good, because it's really good. It's well made. They've done a good job. Nice thick gauge leather. You get the sheath alone is worth the money. And yeah, you can see they've stitched it using like a nylon thread, and it's been machine stitched for sure. Okay, you can just totally tell that, because comparing it to, say, my Jacklaw, you can see a hand stitch finish, and the belt loop is one piece, part of the actual sheath itself, and it's stitched here. That's my preferred method. The dangler on the Jacklaw can be taken off, where the dangler on this one cannot. So it doesn't hinder anything. You can either put your belt there, or you can put your belt there. I do both. The good thing about having two, I can chop and change the knife in this used sheath and use it and abuse it until it becomes no longer usable. So if it does eventually fail on me, I can then make this a storage sheath and then move on to the next sheath. Okay, and when that one gets done, then I'll make one. Price range, you're looking at around £35 for the carbon and just a few extra pounds for the stainless. It's probably around 35, maybe a little bit less, and I think this one's about 38. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it wasn't that much. Definitely below the 40. So for, you know, near around 80 quid or 90 quid, I'll say. No, yeah, 80 quid, get my maths right, Sammy. So around 80 quid, you know, all in, you can get two good quality full tang knives that are fantastic. I took the handle off that one when I got it, and I traced round it because I wanted to clone it. And it's so annoying, guys, because I was making two knife making videos for cloning my knives, and I was cloning this one with my own specification, and I was also cloning my A. Wright & Son knife, and my phone has broken. And silly me, I didn't back up those videos, and they're now gone. They're missing. So I'm gonna have to start again, but to show you where I got to, this is where I got to. I heat treated it, and I just needed to temper it. So that was my clone of these two knives. Didn't do too badly, and I was doing my own features. I wanted 4mm 01 tool steel, so I wanted to use a different steel. Features I wanted to keep the same, and put my own Scandi and my own sort of steeper grind on there. So just to kind of clone the knife with my own features, and I was going to put my own style of handle on it, but give myself a custom version. It'd been more like the Condor Bushlaw, which is these knives have been inspired by. A lot of people say they're exactly the same as the Ramiz knives. They're not, by all means. There's a lot of difference. Let me bring in the Ramiz Bushcraft knife. You can see they're similar, but they're not the same. Firstly, if we line up the handles, the handle on the BPS is longer. Secondly, they're more one consistent shape along the knife itself, where the Woodlaw style knives has some good contouring going on. You get a palm swell, and yeah, so there's a lot more contouring going on. Secondly, if you look at the butt of the knife, it's got the pointy bit there, okay, and the pointy bit there, and it's more curved around the back there, so it sort of swoops in a little bit, where on the BPS you get a straight spine of the handle there. There's no pointy bits and no curvature that's, you know, like the same as this, and the pointy bit here is not as aggressive as what you get on the Woodlaw. The BPS as well has a thicker, I suppose, width of the blade itself, where the Woodlaw style one's a little bit more thinner, which is favors itself to carving. So when it comes to fine intricate carving, the thinner that blade, the better. So even if you were to look at a Mora, how thin that is fantastic knife for carving and whittling. So for whittling tasks, I'd say the BPS, yeah, it can do it. It wouldn't do it as well as the Woodlaw, if you ask me, because there's more of a drop on that point here, and then it just has that continuous curve, so it goes straight then curves up, where on the BPS it's symmetric. If you ask me, if you were to draw a line from the edge to the handle, it's the same curvature here than it is here. Now with sharpening that will change, but if you wanted to make this more like a Woodlaw, just take a slither of steel off the back just around there, just kind of grind it down, and that makes it more like a Woodlaw, if you ask me. So although they're very, very similar, they're not the same. Okay, I'm just pointing that out there. The Woodlaw, if you ask me, is much more superior knife in its design because it has lots of features that's thought about. But when it comes to usage, they both perform, you know, very, very well. I'd say my carbon and my stainless will perform as well as any of my high-end knives, just like the Moras would. So a good budget. Now this one, like I say, they're in sub £40 each, where something like this you're looking at spending about £400 nowadays, maybe more. So yeah, it's a lot, you know, very expensive, and it's obviously handmade and custom made. Same for BPS, but they've cut corners to cut that cost down. So that's the BPS B1. I hope you guys have liked that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a little clip of me doing some feather sticking. I'm not going to do battening, guys, because, you know, it is a thin blade. You guys know it can batten, you know, sensible bits of wood. I'm not going to take big logs. If I was to batten anything, it'd be about that much. But I'll do some feather sticking and maybe a point, and just to show you how that looks. We'll start with a carbon blade, just kind of give you a little look at that. So you can see there, nice fine curls going on. That's the carbon blade, so it's nice and sharp. Let's see how fine I can get them. Don't sound funny, but if you need any more than that in a knife, then you're fussy, like me. Because I've got high-end knives and I look at this thing and I go, whoa, I hate loving it, because the cost is just brilliant. Let's try the stainless. I haven't touched the stainless at all since I've bought it. This is straight out the box, really, so to say, even though I did take on that trip. I've not sharpened it or honed it. It's been used once. You can me see. It does really good. Let's get some finer ones. Again, that's pretty much out the box. I've used it on one trip, haven't sharpened it. If I put an edge, a better edge on that, if I was to put a better edge on that, yeah, it'd even do better. See there, there's curly whirlies. Let's use this for notching. I'll just do one style of notch, little number 7 notch will do. Simple enough. Pointing. Easy enough, isn't it? Let's get the carbon. So notching first. Oh, broke that. Stick isn't the best to do it with. Bob on there, isn't it? Little point. Nice and close, but yes, this is the carbon one. Just to give you an idea, does the job brilliantly. The guys in Ukraine have got this down to a T. So if you enjoyed today's video, guys, please give me a thumbs up, a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for another video soon. Thank you.